Good morning. This is Morning Coffee, and you know, uh, taking care of me, taking care of myself, going deep on the inside and finding the resources, finding the inner strength, tapping into the power within, learning to rely on a loving and caring God can be a really difficult assignment for me. I'm going to be transparent. So, with all these health issues that I have, and they add up, I have to sometimes take a step back. I'm on the machine now. So, anyway, I have to sometimes take a step back and I have to begin to understand that, you know what, Rodney? You made roll call number one. But just because you made roll call does not give you the advantage to default on your commitment to live in grace. Did you get that? So that means that taking care of Rodney has to be your number one job. Otherwise, how are you going to be able to really pour from the God within you and connect to God within other people in a way that is going to be meaningful? So I'm sitting on this machine, and let me tell you, I got hit already this year. That's why I didn't buy into making no New Year's resolutions, because life is going to be life without all these traditions that we have in the world today, without all the holidays, without all the seasons, without all the cliches and words and phrases that we use and that we try and, you know, rely on to get through the next moment. Life is going to be life. It is going to show up regardless. And they show up because of the consequences of my decisions. So I just need to take care of me even through that. And you got to follow me today. So I get a letter from the IRS. I told you I'm going to be transparent. And saying that I owe them $20,000. Now I like to flip because, to be honest with you, I know I don't owe them no 20,000. At one point I was on SSD. And a lot of times, and this is what I mean by you got to tap the power within. A lot of times I want to blame them because they didn't explain to me about the ticket to work, which means that you could work while you collect your Social Security. Now, I wasn't doing anything illegal. I literally was on dialysis. They, I got approved. But let me share with you what I did later in life. I went to them and said, look, I'm not going to be sitting in a situation to where I can't work. I've acquired my master's degree. I want to work. So you can take me off SSD. That's when I found out. And listen, this is due to my own ignorance. So I'm not blaming them. So let's get that right. I'm not a victim. But a lot of times we don't read the fine print and stuff that we think is good. But anyway, they had informed me that I was supposed to pay taxes out of the Social Security money. Well, this fact eluded me. And even when I found out, greed stepped in. And I said, I'm not going to pay no taxes. So long story short, and it was only for after I found out, it was only for a couple of months, but it doesn't matter. So they, hit me for all the taxes for all that time, but it didn't amount to no 20,000. So fear set in. I'm like, oh Lord, I'm on this dialysis machine, and then I got they hit me, that Social Security's hit me, that I owe them. This is just real life stuff. Just real life stuff. And no sense in me hiding behind the mask that just because I'm on a kidney dialysis machine just because I have my master's degree and just because I know how to articulate my current condition or my pain, it doesn't mean that the stuff goes away. So what do you do when you're in a situation like this and you just feel like enough is enough? Well, the first thought that came to my mind was, oh my God. And I said, Rodney, check it out. You've been taking care of yourself because you have learned to rely on a loving and caring God. Now, the loving and caring God that I serve doesn't mean that I deny the condition or that I say, because a lot of us that are very religious, now I didn't say spiritual, but a lot of us that are very religious will look at that situation or that condition, and I've seen it, and say, oh, I owe these people, and God help me, and God gonna help me out of it because it ain't right. No, you gotta take responsibility. That's the first lesson I got. Take responsibility. Don't run, because the IRS don't play. They will levy your stuff. And I thought to myself, Lord have mercy. If them folks put a levy, because I've been on that, I've had that condition. Listen. So I decided I'm going to give them a call, and we're going to work it out. And if I have to get a tax lawyer, I'll get a tax lawyer. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to run from the problem. And what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to lay down and just take what they're telling me as their governmental stuff. I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to take care of me by doing the right thing and by working with them. And if I set an arrangement with them to pay this time, this is no New Year's resolution. This is just taking care of me. I'm going to honor the commitment and the contract. Because a lot of times in our lives, it's the stuff like that that will set us off, and we will act like it doesn't exist and run from those things. This is life on life's terms. Now, life on God's terms means I must be obedient to what God is calling me to do. And that is, Rodney, this has come up again so that you could take care of you. Now, I feel like I'm very overwhelmed in taking care of me right now. I'm very overwhelmed. I'm preparing to, get on this transplant list. And let me tell you a lot of the medical things that you don't know that I have to go through. I have to go and get this catheter thing, and I have to be put under anesthesia because the first time they tried it didn't work. I had to tell them to take that thing out. They need to touch something in my bladder so that before I have the surgery, they can make sure that my bladder's working, because it's like as small as a peanut, is what I was told. That's overwhelming. I have to go and try and get on Medicare again. Why am I telling you all my personal business? Sometimes you have to come from out behind the mask and you have to share with people because you don't know where your help's going to come from. Somebody else could be going through the same thing and they have already had a solution because they took care of themselves and stayed in the process. So I got to get up and go. I don't like dealing with governmental agencies because they don't do their jobs. And the people that they hire, they just appear that they don't have any empathy. They're like robots. It's pathetic. But on the other hand, I have to remember that those people have a loving and caring God too. And if I go there in the right frame of mind, whether they do their job or not, I still need to be taking care of me. So I got to show up and deal with that. I have to get a liver biopsy, found out. I was like, oh Lord, I don't want nobody to stick nothing in my side. And I know that's going to be painful. The doctors always tell you stuff and I don't feel like going. And so it made me want to give up. I'm telling you, let me just be honest. Can I be transparent? Can I be honest with your permission? And I'm like, oh gosh, I don't feel like doing that. I'm tired. I don't feel like doing all that. But then it dawned on me. You have been given an awesome and rich spirit. You can't talk the talk. This machine is not what gives you life. That's not what keeps your kidneys pumping. Even the fact that I'm talking to you and that I'm not out of breath, I'm not out of air, I'm not feeling like, oh, even that is a blessing. So what you do is you tap into the power within. Your loving and caring God, connect with people that understand your purpose, and you move on in the light, knowing everything It's going to be all right. Have a blessed day. This is Morning Coffee.